All right, welcome back. And once again, we are seated ready for the discussion of the state of the nation. We've had several of the discussions that I mentioned as we of course out of the country and the nation by very beautiful ladies about the state of the nation. And allow me have them introduce themselves to you. Let me begin from my far right, Lllian.
Okay, my name is Lllian Awuor, and I'm a student at the University of Nairobi, and I come from Boise also. I'm a student leader, and I'm a founder of an organization. As I've said, I always really have that a passion of empowering youth, especially young girls. So I'm a founder of an organization called EcoSpark Youth Nexus. It's a youth-led organization, and it deals with environmental justice and youth empowerment, curbing early pregnancies, and all that. Thank you.
You're doing a very amazing job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for making a difference in our country. Sharon?
Okay, thank you so much, Sylvia, and thank you for hosting me. My name is Sharon Mukai Mwangela. I am an emerging youth leader from Kenya. I am also a former student leader at the Technical University of Kenya, and I am very, very passionate about politics, governance, all that. And I believe that everyone in this country needs to participate for the country to be a better country. It's everyone's responsibility. Like my country, my responsibility. Real patriotism.
I think you're very right, because today we are counting 365 days to the next general election, and looking at different papers that we're having this morning, just to sample them, because we are going to be talking about generally about realignments, alignments, and as we head towards the next year's general election. To set us off, we have the People Daily. The People Daily are talking of the coalition that that could beat Ruto. They have given the faces of opposition leaders, including JB Muturi, we have Kalonzo, Matiang'i, we have Eugene Wamalwa, Martha Karua, we have Edwin Sifuna, and last but not least, definitely, we have Rigathi Gachagua. So these are faces that are given, and they're saying that inside the unlikely alliance reshaping Kenya's 2027 presidential race, the Standard, The Standard are talking of game of numbers, and this is the numbers based on different regions in the country, the 8 regions, where they have highlighted several regions. We have the Mount Kenya block with 5.7 million, Nairobi 2.42 million, Eastern region 1.7 million, Western region 2.22 million, Nyanza 3.1 million, North Rift 2.36 million, South Rift 805,000, the Coast region with 2.2 million. So this, they're saying that it's a conversation of if Ruto will beat the 50+1 mark in the coming general election. And finally, we have the Daily Nation, which are talking of Ruto leads, UDA ODM must win election talks, still matters related to the 2027 general election. And just to begin with you, Sharon, you've mentioned that it is our collective responsibility to participate in electing our leaders, just being patriotic as a whole. So do you think that the young people in this country are patriotic enough or are ready for next year's general election?
Yes, the young people are very, very ready for the next elections, but there are some red flags that I believe that the young people are overlooking, and one of them is accountability. I really don't think that and it's not just the young people. Does accountability really matter to Kenyans? Because if you are a real patriotic person who has the best interest for Kenya, then you will have to open your eyes and choose the best leader, regardless of tribe, regardless of whether where your hearts want to be. So in as much as we are patriotic, let us also be sharp, and let us open our minds. Let track record speak for itself as we choose our leaders. Yeah.
Lllian?
Okay, thank you. On my in my opinion, I think that they are ready, but some, I think, we as youth leaders need to talk to our fellow youths. So because in presidential candidates, we are really chanting 1 term, 2 term, but we are not looking at the devolution county government. And yesterday I was in TV 47, and youths were talking about also they are tired of this, somewhat tired of this chant 1 term, and it's beginning from county government. If county government officials were working like governors, MPs, this chant, I'm sure, won't be there. Like, they're not doing their works, and they're helping us chant 1 term, 2 terms, and hospitals are there, roads. Like, I come from Busia, and Busia is among the top 10 poorest counties, and you'll hear some MPs and governors helping us chant 1 term, and they are not working. So it's a high time youth should start now voting for people and not parties. So maybe if you choose to vote for a party and someone is just there, maybe Busia, Ningomea, this party. And now someone is there not working, and he's expecting us to vote for him because sisi ni ngomea hiyo. So youth, I think they should change their mind there, and they should be self-centered now. Don't look for a party because it's not your party. You're supporting a party, na baadaye they'll go up there, they'll shake hands. So don't even vote for a party, vote for a person. Yes, thank you.
And now that we are still on you and talking about not voting for political parties, rather voting for specific individuals, there is the current formation with the broad-based government, and with the 3-day retreat that is ongoing in Nakuru, I guess. The ODM party and the UDA party are now coming together for a must-win talks, and a panel has even been formed, or a team has been formed from members from ODM, members from UDA coming together to form a joint manifesto ahead of the 2027 general election. So in this country, it is really hard to overlook a party, overlook the party which is a vehicle to you getting your re-election. So what do you think about these realignments that you're having in the country? Because on the other side, as the People Daily puts it, we have the opposition coming together despite their challenges that they're having with coming with one presidential candidate. We still have distinct coalitions that you need to get into, or a party that you need to get into in order to be elected. So what do you think about the realignments and alignments that you're having currently in the country?
Okay, thank you. I think that even, or deciding for which person to vote, okay, you don't know the reason, the notion behind someone deciding to join a party. You don't know the reason. Maybe she has his own selfish reasons. So don't choose someone because he has joined. I don't know, they've shaken hands, they're together. You don't know the reason behind. Maybe he's looking for money or something else. So you don't know the reason. You don't know his selfish needs. So you just go with your opinion.
Right. Now coming back to you, Sharon, with the realignments and alignments that are currently ongoing in the country, what do you make of them?
I hate to be the one who is breaking this news to Kenyans, but one advantage that the UDA and ODM coalition has is the fact that they all understand that the president is their presidential candidate. And so everyone ako chini yake. You know, it's one thing to lead citizens, and then it's another thing to lead your fellow leaders, like that capacity. So they have that advantage of unity. Whether it will take them to victory, I don't know, but they have that advantage. On the other side, the coalition, the united opposition, I was reading this newspaper and everyone has their own story. You read about Matiang'i at Kameme TV. He said that in the opposition there is just so much hypocrisy, there is backstabbing, some are calling him a mole, and then he talked about Gachagua being a betrayer, that they supported Gachagua during the Mbeere North, but he did not support them during the Olkalau. So realize that, you know, it's one thing by there to lead the people, and it's another thing to lead your fellow leaders, and especially when these fellow leaders have the same interest as you. it's like we all want that mango. And then it doesn't matter how much I become the leader, you all still want that mango. So you realize that they might tell you become the flag bearer, but at a very, very compromised rate of almost everything. Either, the power sharing could be a very, very big challenge for them. So I don't know how they are going to work on it, because for a leader to lead leaders, it takes another level of capacity. But it does take another level of capacity, and the thing that normally advantages people is popularity, influence, and somehow experience. Like Raila, in Raila's time, it was almost obvious. It doesn't matter how ambitious you would be in ODM or in the opposition, but it would be obvious that it's Raila because he has this type of influence. And now we have Raila has RIP to him, and then now we have Kalonzo feeling that he has influence. He does have influence. We also have Sifuna, every poll saying that he's the one who should be the flag bearer. He does has influence. We also have Matiang'i. We all have these people who believe that they should be there, who they are stabbing their chest. They believe that they should be the presidential candidate. And at this point, if you were to be the flag bearer, it really, how can you lead these people, because they believe that they are a team and there is no that not necessarily loyalty, but humility. You see, even the reason why some families break is because they don't have humility. If the one person is insecure, that is the father is insecure, and then the mother is confident, so it brings that one. But then if both of them are secure, they know their place. But then in this case, most of them feel, or a number of them feel like they have one chance of shooting the shot to presidency. Some feel like, if it's Sifuna, he probably feels like if he doesn't take it, probably the next time he will not have the advantage of this wave and this influence. Because, one thing is that influence might come and go. Kalonzo feels like the next time he will be old. Because the last time he was in the ballot as a president was 2007. And so everyone has this ambition, the same ambition.
So you feel like the UDA ODM have an advantage?
They have it's a real advantage. It is a real advantage. That we hatuwezi kata hapo. It's the same way when we have a family where the mother and the father are agreeing, and they all agree that this one is the father, and then they know their place. It becomes almost a little bit stable. And then we have another one whereby mimi was in so the ODM and UDA have that real advantage, and it's up to the opposition to realize that humility is needed when it's very, very much needed when it comes to a coalition. You will not build a coalition when all of you have the same conflict of interest, and it's the same. We don't even have anyone who would be like, or I go for speaker, or I go for deputy. You ask Kalonzo about going for deputy, and says that it will depend on the surrounding circumstances. Then that's when he's just avoiding the question, and then he says, I have no problem. So you realize that it's almost like a painful pill to swallow. And so when it becomes that painful, don't you think that it would be easier to betray the same coalition?
Okay. Now, Llyian, from where you sit, do you think that ODM and UDA are at advantage, as Sharon says?
Okay, first of all, I just don't know why they joined, because when Raila went, they were not that intact, but now you see it's now scattered, and most it's like to linda ground and linda mwananchi, so kila mtu ako na interest yake, and they have advantage, like our SG has an advantage now when she's campaigning in Busia. Now she's campaigning for the opposition Ruto. Now it's also an advantage, and they acknowledge him. They now acknowledge him as the leader, and okay, they have faith in him, and now they are campaigning for him. It's an added advantage to them. I know Ruto will take also will have a share in Busia come 2027 because of that coalition. Yes, and also in some parts, it's now broad-based, and leaders from different parts of Kenya have joined it, so he'll also have a share from different parts. It's an advantage to him also. Yes.
All right. Now the gazeti la Taifa Leo wanasema kwamba lazima tushinde. Hiyo ni maamuzi ya 2027. That's according to both a party leader Awuor Odinga and of course UDA party leader, that is President William Ruto. Does this give you confidence? Like ground, your people, you interact with youth so much. Do they buy into this narrative of the united opposition, or not united opposition, the broad-based government carrying the day, or do they have a divergent opinion?
Okay, they have different opinions. Some are supporting Sifuna, and some are supporting our president Ruto. But I think, can you pardon your question, please?
I was asking that now that we are having the broad-based coming together and the young people, generally I was asking ground inasema aje?
Okay, there are different there are different people, there are different opinion, there are divergent opinion too of them, but it depends with your effort, the two groups, their effort, the Ruto and Sifuna, their effort of campaigning, and they're both doing a lot, looking at our president, what he has done, and just bringing things that others president were not doing, like affordable housing, helping farmers and all that. So it depends with them what they'll do, how they'll campaign, like what they'll say. We won't look at their party like supporting like Linda Mwananchi. It's for Linda Mwananchi, and we don't know even why they formed it. It depends with what they want to do for youth, and youth also should know that, okay, if they're deciding to support Sifuna, they should have positive reasons which are self-centered, which they know that the reasons will help them. Yes.
Now let's get to something different as we prepare for the 2027 election. Of course, we have the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission giving different guidelines on, especially on the ceiling of how much you're supposed to be spending as a leader. So this is in relation to what has been presented in the People Daily, where they're talking of the brokers behind 2027, the powerful deal makers shaping Kenya's next political battle. It has always been a conversation that whoever helps you get in power will probably determine your terms of leadership as you get to power, and it's something that IEBC is trying to curb. One, it's trying to curb a case of corruption where someone gets to power and then they're now stealing to return back the money they used for campaigns. Another thing, they're also trying to curb corruption and not so good people sponsoring elections and then coming up to be the power brokers. So what do you think about this IEBC's move? And do you think that this is really possible to have regulations on the amount of money you can spend on your campaign, or is this just IEBC is just becoming a backing dog?
Well, this is not the first time IEBC has said this. Every time, like we all know, they have always capped the presidential candidature at 4 billion. But again and again, it has passed that limit. And for me, I think IEBC has to be another unserious institution, because even with IEBC, people still have early campaigns, pre-campaigns. Even with IEBC, we have people, like we have all these irregularities around elections. So I really, and then for aspirants, it becomes a very, very personal mission to protect your votes. At this point, what is the role of IEBC? Because as an aspirant, there is an amount that you pay to IEBC. So their point of wanting to curb the amount that can be used for politics is at some point unreal, because it's the type of points that look good on paper. But is that the reality? Because let's say candidates, some of them, a senator somewhere has 500 million somewhere that he wants to use for campaign, what will you tell him to do? And the money is not all, like, I don't know, it looks good on paper, but it's not that realistic. Unless now it comes from Kenyans that they now shame the devil. Kenyans can also show you that your money means nothing to us. So the moment it gets there, the culture dies naturally. It's one way to curb a certain culture through laws and just written documents. But then it's also another thing for a culture to be curbed from the people themselves, and they decide that no, we do not want this culture, not anymore, because that's the culture that is destroying our country. A senator spends 200 million, whatever amount he spends, he gets there, and now he has to collaborate with the governor. They loot the county to its knees. They loot. Before we know it, and Kenya is at that point where our leaders are extremely insensitive. And I'm talking of extremely. We have a case, I don't know why I don't even have the facts. There is a county that people demonstrated because their hospital was in bad condition, and then 2 people were killed due to demonstrating because of their rights. And then we have other counties that are passing bills that have whereby they want to use the money to build gazebos. And you look at the unseriousness, the level of unseriousness of our leaders, and you just wonder, are these our representatives, or is it that we are also unserious?
Okay. Now let me come back to Llyian. Do you have confidence in IEBC as we head towards the 2027 elections?
Okay, thank you, Sylvia. Okay, we don't have confidence as youth, and even yesterday that came out clearly. Like, we didn't have faith in the past election. Why should we have it? And so far, there are some leaders who have already spent even 2 billion in campaigns, and I don't think this will make you win. By the way, you should just keep your money. And a good example is that one that happened in Olkalau. You see what happened, and this is really alarming. It's telling us that Kenyans have decided they know what they want. Money won't change their mind. So even if IBC won't be able, I think they should just know themselves that even money won't make them win. Won't change anything.
Okay, that's fair. That's so unfortunate to hear that we don't have confidence in our Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Now, coming towards, there's also a story that has been highlighted here. The Battle of Mount Kenya, the 2 political heavyweights fighting for control of Kenya's most coveted voting bloc, and also with the conversation surrounding opposition being a threat to the government. Do you think that the government is shaken, and do you think that also Kindiki is losing grip of the mountain?
Okay, I think the government is one side of the government is shaken, like Kindiki, but Ruto, of course, our president, is not always that. He's always fearless. I don't think he's sick, and he's used to these campaigns and all that. He's been through this, so I don't think he's sick. He's shaken. Maybe Kindiki, because you see Gachagua is very vibrant in politics, and you've seen he's taken a large part of Mount Kenya. So I think Kindiki might be shaken.
Okay. Do you agree with Llyian?
Okay, partly, but to be shaken doesn't mean that somebody is going while shaking. I believe that our president is shaken because I remember there is a time that Sifuna said a loose word, and then he criticized the government. What are these called? There is these buildings, affordable housing. And so he said that they're so tall, his chicken cannot get there. Why is that the president was so quick to reply to that? It means that he watches clearly. He is threatened. He is surely threatened. And about Mount Kenya, Mount Kenya might even be divided into 3. We have the Kindiki, and then we have the United Opposition divided by 2. Because Jubilee does want to, it really wants to have a say at Mount Kenya. and DCP believes that it is the popular party. So but Mount Kenya in itself, it could be united. You know, Mount Kenya could be united, but at the same time having people who want to divide it, like take a share. But you know, it's time we stop treating human beings like they are, I don't know what they are in some people's eyes. Like, how do you look at people and then you be like, I want this share? You know, these are human beings. Basic decency.
That is lacking with our leaders. Now, let's bring this to an end, ladies. I want just briefly, now that we are at you, Sharon, please give us briefly, what do you think of the state of the nation, even as we conclude?
I would have loved the question to be a bit detailed.
How are we faring as a country? How would you rate? How are we doing as a country? What is our state as a country? Are we doing good? Are we doing bad?
As a country, we are not so good. We are not in a very, very good place, because in as much as we do want, we have democracy and politics guiding our lives, I believe that politics has taken too much of us. And I don't even know whose fault is it, because we really need to get to a point whereby as a country, politics doesn't shake us. Right now, as Kenya stands, presidency and the next elections is a huge determinant. Like it could determine where the country goes. Why am I saying this? A president comes in, he changes everything, sometimes even to the worse. So I mean, that in itself shows how unstable a country is. Because for us, politics is really, really shaking our lives. We have careless politicians going around saying that tourists should not come to Kenya. I don't know, you know, and they don't even they really are ignorant of how that does affect our economy. When you say tourists shouldn't come to Kenya, you know, you do you know tourism does contribute a lot to the Kenya's economy. It does contribute a lot, and those careless words could really, really affect it. Somebody could listen somewhere and then realize, what if it's true? You know, this is a respected leader in Kenya. So the state of the nation, Kenya needs to do better as a country, and we really, really need to move past the point where politics really, really controls our life. There is nothing wrong with politics controlling our lives, but I'm talking of the loud politics. Every time when you press on your TV, you just see another politician insulting somebody else. You just see another one bragging. You just, like, you know, it gets exhausting of the type of leaders that we have. Low quality leaders. Leaders from Temu.
Okay,
you know.
Okay. So Sharon believes that... Did you just say we have leaders from Temu? Anyway. Llyian, please.
Okay, thank you. I don't think our state is doing well as per now, like the unrest, chaos and all that, and mostly it's caused by grown-ups, not Gen Zs. These very big people that you expect to be wise and lead as examples, they're the one causing chaos, insulting each other, but Gen Z, we are just quiet. So it's high time the leaders and an example, and at least our country to be calm. And another thing also, the ABC and NCIC should also do their work, okay? And especially as we are heading to the election, 363 days remaining, there's always a lot of goonism and abduction, so they should put measures to ensure that our youth at least are safe. You know, these grown-ups will just cause chaos and they run away, and we Gen Zs will remain there suffering, being abducted and all that. And another thing also, they should give youth a chance. Okay, there are also claims that, okay, my youth have sent me to say that there are some youth which are leaders and not politicians that are willing to lead their people in MCAs and all that, but they don't have resources and funds. So register, I don't know if register can come in of political parties or what, to support these young leaders and not politicians. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now, conclusively, I can say that you both say that our country is unstable because of politicking a lot in the country, and we have other leaders from Temu. Now that brings us to the end of our discussion this morning. That's been this coverage of Biashara Tuesday on this 11th day.